This is KGW News at Sunrise.
This severely inhibits Oregonians from engaging in defense from imminent harm.
Gun violence is preventable. Common sense policies like Measure 114 save lives.
In a matter of hours, the legal battle over Oregon's voter-approved gun control measure is set to resume in a Harney County courtroom. Ahead, the arguments on both sides and why this likely isn't the last legal hurdle.
Meanwhile, the fight is just beginning when it comes to reimagining Measure 110. That's the voter-approved law decriminalizing possession of small amounts of hard drugs. Coming up this morning, we hear from those who say it's time to go back to the drawing board.
Also this morning, the summer of worker strikes continues. Nurses at OHSU are the latest group threatening to walk off the job. We'll hear from both sides of this ongoing contract negotiation as they try to avoid the first OHSU nurses strike in more than 20 years.
And it is all quiet on the roads this morning. Eric Patterson in our Drive 8 unit on his way to Beaverton right now. We'll be checking in on him throughout the morning, but nice weather actually, kind of cool.
You know, later this week, Beaverton Restaurant Week kicks off.
Oh.
And they love it so much there in Beaverton, they've extended it beyond the week. It goes for like 11 days.
Okay.
Does it start today? No.
Oh, no, later this week on Thursday. A week in Beaverton is longer than 7 days, Rod.
Yes. Here's a look at our weather map. I'm talking about cool temperatures outside. I mean, to my memory, the days I've worked, I think this is potentially our coldest start that we've had, because if you look at this map, only Vancouver, Portland, and Troutdale are holding on to the 50s. Everybody else has dropped into the 40s. 46 down in Tigard. It had been a mainly clear night. We're starting to see a little bit of increase in cloudiness right now. Estacada, good morning, 43 for you. Salem's at 52, and Almsville is at 52. Here's our day 4. We will be dry. I'm calling it kind of partly sunny. Again, we're just now starting to see some increasing cloudiness come in from the northwest. 64 at noon, very comfortable 72 for high. So the weather's good. Chris McGinnis, don't mess us up.
Try not to. And so far, the traffic map is all green. You saw photojournalist Eric Patterson out in Beaverton a minute ago. The roads look good there. They are dry, and we are free and clear here. This is I-5 up near Lombard. There's your southbound commute, pretty wide open, guys. Lots of elbow room out there. No crashes, no unexpected delays just yet.
That's what we like to see. Thank you, Chris. At 9 o'clock this morning in eastern Oregon, the trial resumes to determine the fate of one of the strictest gun measures in the country. Those watching closely tell us Measure 114 will likely end up in the Supreme Court. KGW's Blair Best walks us through what we can expect.
State and federal lawsuits have stopped Measure 114 from going into effect ever since voters passed it back in November. The big question, is it constitutional or not? A federal judge ruled that it is, but now it's up to a Harney County judge to decide. And that's what this week's trial is all about.
In November, the people of Oregon passed the Reduction of Gun Violence Act.
It's one of the toughest gun control laws in the nation. Measure 114 requires people to have a permit, a criminal background check, and take a training course in order to buy a gun. It also bans high-capacity magazines holding more than 10 rounds. It narrowly passed Oregon voters back in November.
This severely inhibits Oregonians from engaging in defense from imminent harm.
Large capacity magazines increase casualties by allowing a shooter to continue firing a weapon for long periods of time.
The controversial measure has been on hold since November. State and federal lawsuits over its constitutionality have stopped it from going into effect. In July, a federal court judge ruled it was in fact constitutional, but an Oregon lawsuit in Harney County is still holding things up. That suit argues the law violates part of the Oregon Constitution that deals with the right to bear arms. This week's trial is meant to answer that question.
Plaintiffs contend that ballot measure 114 represents the most significant threat to that right Oregonians have faced in nearly 165 years.
Supporters of Measure 114 are also speaking up.
Gun violence is preventable. Common sense policies like Measure 114 save lives.
They argue the law will help curb gun violence and encourage gun safety.
Pop, 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 pop.
That's people like Jesse Quack, a Portland author who was shot in the eye 2 months ago while leaving a North Portland street fair.
I had just finished up a long day selling books at the Mississippi Street Fair, and as another author, my friend Mark, and I were leaving, The car in front of us opened up fire, and I was struck by crossfire from this drive-by shooting in my left eye.
The Harney County judge has barred voices like hers from the courtroom this week. He tells the Oregonian that type of evidence is outside the scope of his work, since he will only be making a decision on if the measure, as written, is constitutional, not how it will be implemented.
The trial was scheduled to last 6 days, but since the judge eliminated some of that testimony, it may end sooner. We also want to point out the federal judge that ruled it constitutional earlier this summer did listen to the type of testimony that's been barred from this trial. Blair Best, KGW News.
Another voter-approved measure is also in the news this morning. So a proposal is on the table to rework Measure 110, which currently makes it legal to possess small amounts of hard drugs in Oregon.
A group, including several prominent business leaders, unveiled the proposal yesterday. They want to make drug possession a crime again and outlaw public use. The new initiative would make addiction treatment a mandatory alternative to jail. Supporters, including Washington County DA Kevin Barton, say this would not be a return to the war on drugs.
We're using the criminal justice system only to the extent minimally necessary to ensure that people engage successfully in treatment. And we're giving every motivation we can to get people through that treatment program and then ensure that they don't have a criminal record once they graduate successfully.
On the flip side, those who continue to back Measure 110 as it currently stands say there are decades of proof that show criminalizing drug use, that is not the answer.
Filling up jail beds with people who are using drugs on the street and then kicking them out because we don't have any public defenders to defend them, when we could have been working and building a system of care that is actually working with these folks and getting them into long-term solutions.
Our Pat Doris spoke in depth with people who care deeply about the issue, learn why they're so divided, and where things might go from here tonight at 6:30 on The Story right here on KGW.
Nurses who work for OHSU could announce a strike any day now. Yesterday, they voted to authorize the walkout if it becomes necessary. So if nurses do decide to hit the picket line, they have to give the hospital 10 days notice. Both sides have been working on a new contract for about 9 months. What you're looking at here is a rally yesterday in Portland, nurses showing their support for the outcome of that strike vote. They say they're overwhelmed at work and they need more staff.
If I have to spend my entire night just trying to keep people alive, I don't get to spend time with the patient in a meaningful way. I don't get to spend time and have that emotional connection.
In a statement, OHSU says it takes the possibility of a strike seriously and hopes one can be avoided. Right now, the hospital is offering a 15% pay raise the first year and another 5% in the last 2 years of the contract.
The union representing thousands of state correctional employees is asking the court system to stop the closure of Larch Correction Center, at least for the time being. A complaint was filed last week in Clark County Superior Court. Among other things, it accuses the Washington State Department of Corrections of violating workers' seniority rights and improperly offering employment in exchange for stopping union activities. The union wants the court to keep the correction center open until the alleged violations are addressed. So right now, the center is set to close in less than 2 weeks on October 1st.
Okay, heading outside on this Tuesday morning, 5:09. Dark still outside, but looking nice from our Wells Fargo Skycam. Looking at the city lights there, driving in and walking outside, nice and cool.
Yeah, it is. Today's weather kind of boring, but close your eyes. Can you hear raindrops falling? Just think about that. You raindrop. You got it?
I mean, we're also in the studio.
You're looking out the window. It's been raining for hours. Are you guys with me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Heard one.
Thank you. This could happen Monday, Tuesday, and potentially into Wednesday of next week.
Oh.
It would be our first. There's a big low that's tracking to be offshore, and it would just pump up hours and hours of rain up across much of the West Coast.
And you're saying that will happen whether or not we keep our eyes open or closed?
That's correct. But thank you for making this moment. Here's a look at what's going on with today. I described it kind of a boring day, meaning quiet. We're going to be dry. We do have a couple of troubling headlines. Number one, air quality warning backup for Deschutes and Crook counties. Yes, this is due to wildfire smoke. A reminder, we have big clusters of fires burning near Santiam Pass and to the south, and that smoke is moving back to the east into central Oregon today. So far, the air quality numbers moderate in Deschutes County. The green dots all good up and down I-5, so that's good news, obviously, right? Okay, here's a little system that's just now starting to throw clouds our way. We were fairly clear overnight, and that's why temperatures have really dropped off. And dew points are well down to the 40s. So in terms of the amount of water vapor in the air, when the dew point's lower, it's less. So this is some of the driest air that we've seen so far this fall. It's allowing temperatures to really nosedive on us. Rain up to the north, but I think for us, we'll just see a mixture of partly sunny skies today, and then we'll get into a scattered shower chance starting later this evening into tonight. Here we are at what time? 7:30 tonight, some rain showers hitting Long Beach Peninsula. Overnight, midnight, 1 a.m., showers passing through the I-5 corridor. And then tomorrow morning, we start off with some scattered showers. Pretty much statewide. This is an upper level low that instead of coming down into Astoria and Portland, comes down kind of into the east gorge and central Oregon and off to the east. So we'll be on the back side of it. Scattered showers could be more numerous tomorrow off across eastern areas. Here are the cool temps behind me. How about 46 in Kelso, 41 in Newport, low 50s currently at the airport at McNary Field in Salem, and PDX here in Portland, 41 over in Bend. Forecast numbers today getting up to 70 or 72, a partly sunny, quiet day with light winds. Don't forget the scattered showers developing later tonight into tomorrow morning. Some of you up north of the Columbia only in the 60s today. Portland goes 72, the AM shower threat tomorrow, the mostly sunny upper 70s Thursday, Friday. And then here, chance of showers this weekend, but here's what could be day one of the big soak. We need it. That's your forecast.
Okay, looking good. Can't wait for it.